Hello, and welcome back to Life in Pictures.
We have been watching some more movies, and we're going to talk about them, like we always do.
Yep.
So this weekend, we went to the movies because it was a special day.
This man right over here turned the big 4-0. And if you're thinking that that is a milestone, it is. However, my husband has been acting like a 40-year-old man since I met him when he was 17.
I'm over 40. I don't care. Which is a song by Tom Wilson, who was in the Back to the Future series and also a bunch of other movies. So that song is movie related, kind of.
And he's been waiting to say that for 20 years.
I'm not over 40 yet, though, technically. I mean, I guess maybe, because if
You're past the
I guess I'm 40 in a day, so depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we went to the movies. We saw some movies at the movies, and we also saw some movies at home. And so the movies we're going to be the first movie we're going to talk about today is one we saw at home. This movie is from 2012. It stars Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And
any guesses? That's right.
It's based on a TV show from the 80s. And that TV show is called
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. Now, when it was on TV, this series ran from 1987 to 1991. I was not, or maybe it was 86. I don't know. Late 80s, early 90s. I was not at the age of the demographics for this show when that came out. I did not really watch the TV show. I was vaguely aware of it from being referenced in other shows and movies. Did you ever watch it?
No.
No.
We were little.
Same boat then. I know that they had reruns later on, but I never watched the show. But I was aware of what it was, what the premise of it was and everything when they made the movie. So it looked like it would be a pretty good movie, so I remember we went to go see this in the theater when it came out in 2012. And at the time, Colin was 1 year old.
Yes.
But now, 12 years later, he has seen this movie. So he's going to be offering up some insights into it as well.
Also, PSA, nobody gets to judge our parenting here, okay? He's 13 years old, and anytime there was a scene he didn't feel comfortable with, he put a blanket over his head. So, no judging of our parenting. Thank you very much. You know, actually, I wanted to discuss this with you because I feel like when I was a kid, we actually watched rated R movies like much earlier than we introduced them to him.
I was going to say, I don't see why anybody would judge it. I don't think it's really like a big deal. Like, it's not like we're sitting him down and making him watch something he doesn't want to watch, or making him watch something that's like completely inappropriate. Like, oh, you're 6 years old, watch this guy get murdered. Like, he's 13.
Well, I can remember being like 9 years old and watching like at my cousin's house for a sleepover, and we're watching like Freddy movies.
Yeah, I used to watch those movies all the time. Like, it was great. We used to watch, Freddy and Jason but I mean, I think part of that though is that, and it's maybe kind of the same thing that we try to do with our kids, or with Colin specifically. Olivia's still a little young for those types of movies, but just to kind of show them that, like, hey, this isn't really as scary as you think it is. If you kind of take a step back and think about it, it's kind of so over the top that it's almost funny in some ways. And I think that's intentional too. Like, I think some of that is intentional. That kind of like throwing back to when we did our episodes on the Psycho series, where every once in a while they have that kind of moment in the movie where they sort of give you a little wink and a nod, where they're kind of in on the joke. I think there's a lot of that in horror movies. And I think, some of them are made to be scarier than others, but some of them are just fun, like I think. I don't know.
Right. I mean, and this movie specifically is a comedy.
Yeah, this movie is not a horror movie. And the reason that is we didn't watch a horror movie is because the movie that we saw at the movies was Stephanie had reached her threshold for violence for the day. So we decided to watch a comedy.
Yes.
And we hadn't seen this movie in a while, and I had showed Colin some clips of it. And so I thought he might want to see it. So we all sat down and watched it together.
You didn't think that I wanted to see it. I pointed it out and said we should watch it.
Okay, well, I guess he pointed it out and said we should watch it. So,
yes.
Sure. All right, so the TV show ran from 87 to 91. Johnny Depp played Tom Hansen. Peter DeLuise played Doug Penhall. And both of them... well, first of all, what do we say on this show?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're going to be... If you haven't listened to the show before and you're unfamiliar with what we do here, we're going to be talking about all of these movies as if you've already seen them. Because we've seen them and we don't want to hold back. So if you haven't seen them and you want to know what happens, then keep listening. And if you don't want to know what happens, take a break, go watch the movies, then come back and listen. All right, now that we've said that and got that out of the way, spoiler alert, here's what I was going to say. Both Johnny Depp and Peter DeLuise reprise their roles as their characters from the show in this movie.
Reprised?
You can say reprise or reprise.
Okay.
Don't question me in my linguistics. I am older than you, and with age comes knowledge.
Okay, I'm going to ask my boss.
I would like to remind you.
Okay.
Anyways.
Continue on, sir.
So there was some questions that we had because we were wondering if when Johnny Depp made the cameo, if he was supposed to be the same character from the show or if he was just making a cameo because he was on the show. And so I did some research. And by research, I mean Googling. And it turns out he played the same character from the show, and his partner did as well. And they end up getting shot to death. And apparently, they wanted it that way so that there was some kind of finality and closure to these characters. So I thought that was kind of interesting to find out. Because I honestly wasn't sure if they were supposed to be the same characters or not. But anyway, this movie's a pretty good movie. I liked it from the first time we saw it. It's very funny. It's got a good cast in it. Jonah Hill as Schmidt, Channing Tatum as Jenko. They're the two kind of main characters. Dave Franco plays Eric Molson. Ice Cube is Captain Dixon. Nick Offerman plays the... I'm not sure what his position is in the police department, but he's like their boss.
He's like their captain.
Before they go to 21 Jump Street. Jake Johnson, who we talked about when we reviewed the movie Self-Reliance, plays the principal of the school. I had forgotten he was in the movie. Johnny Pemberton, who is, if you've ever watched the show Superstore, he played... is her name Cheyenne? Mm-hmm. Cheyenne's boyfriend on the show.
Her baby daddy.
He's a pretty funny guy. Another person I forgot was in this movie, or maybe I don't know if I forgot, or maybe I just didn't know who they were when I first saw the movie. Ellie Kemper is the science teacher. You probably know her from Kimmy Schmidt or from The Office. Chris Parnell is the drama teacher. He was probably most well known for being on Saturday Night Live. And I think he was on 30 Rock for a little while. Dr. Spachemin. And Rob Riggle is the gym coach. So yeah, that's most of the big names in the movie.
Yeah, so some background on the movie. The budget of the movie was $55 million and the box office was over $200 million. So they made quite a bit of money on it. So that led them to make a sequel, 22 Jump Street, yes, which we have not watched with Colin yet, but maybe.
Yeah, very, very successful.
So it's available to rent or buy digitally on Blu-ray or DVD.
Yeah, and the way that we saw it is we already owned it on Blu-ray. Well, we watched it digitally yesterday, but we had it digitally because we own it on Blu-ray. So a lot of the times, if you buy this movie, not this movie specifically, but if you buy movies in general, they will also come with a code to redeem for a digital version of the movie. So you might be able to go find this movie at Walmart in a $5 bin or something and also redeem a digital code. I don't know if that's the case for sure because I already had it, but you might be able to. Worth a shot. But it's not streaming anywhere that's included in a subscription that I could find. I might be wrong about that, but I didn't see it included in any of these.
Because it feels like those a lot of movies kind of rotate in and out of being available for streaming.
Yeah, I mean maybe it was and it's just not there anymore. I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but just doing a quick search across some of the platforms we subscribe to, I did not see it. So if you want to watch it, you can. It's probably about $5 or $6 to rent. You go buy a Blu-ray or a DVD or however you want to check it out. But it shouldn't be too hard to find. Pretty major release. A lot of availability.
It's not available on streaming at the time of recording. It may be later.
Yeah, you never know.
So check it out.
Okay, so quick plot summary here. I tried to make this summary succinct. We'll see how successful I was at that. But so Schmidt and Janko, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum's characters. The movie starts out with them both in high school. It's kind of a flashback to 2005. Schmidt is kind of a shy, somewhat nerdy student. And Janko is, they're both kind of polar opposites, where Janko's like a popular jock type student. Schmidt is trying to ask a girl to the prom. It's obvious she's not interested in him. Janko thinks this is hilarious, and he kind of makes fun of him a little bit. And so they kind of set the tone that, these guys weren't really friends in high school.
No, not at all. I have some notes for this particular section. Great job trying to make Schmidt look exactly like Eminem. Basically, he just looked like a porky Eminem. And Channing Tatum with long hair is a terrible idea. No, thank you. Bad wig, not a good look. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, so fast forward to the present day, which, by the way, is 2012 in this scenario. Did they say 2012 in the movie? Do you guys remember?
It says 2012.
Good. Finally. I hate it. I don't know, you probably have heard this on past episodes, but it drives me crazy when I watch a show or a movie and it says they're supposed to give you a setting for the time and it just says present day, because it's so temporary. Like, it's irrelevant, like the next year. And it would be so much easier to just put the year on it, because when you watch it, it might not be present day anymore. Case in point, Colin watched it 13 years later or 12 years later.
Yeah, but this one didn't say present day. It said...
No, I know. I'm not this one specifically. I'm just saying in general. So, if you say right now, oh, this is present day, and then 10 years later somebody watches it and it's clear it's not happening right then, it's like, what's the point of that? It's so much easier to just say, this happened in this year. This is the year I'm talking about, kind of thing. Personal opinion. Some movies do it, some don't. This one did. Good on them. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So, present day, 2012. Jonah Hill has become is going through the police academy to become a police officer. And
who should he run into but Janko,
his old buddy. So, turns out that, they both have different talents. Schmidt is kind of more of an intellectual, so he's very good at the written portion of the police exam. Janko is more of an athletic type, so he's very good at the physical part and not as good at the written part. So they decide to team up and be friends and help each other out, so that they can both become police officers. And they become friends, they go through the academy, they help each other out, and then they become bicycle cops. Which is this movie is like really hilarious because it's like it's always stuff like that where they just it's like joke after joke after joke, and it's really funny. Like, you know, you kind of think they're gonna be these like hardcore cops, and they're like, you know, riding bicycles around the park, where it's like, you know,
in their shorts,
and they're like busting a little kid for like feeding the ducks, where there's a sign that says "Don't feed the ducks" and stuff. And you know, it was really really well done. And well, anyway, so they do that.
So they end up running into this like bike gang, and they think
the One Percenters is the name of the
One
gang.
Percenters. They think they're gonna find like marijuana. They end up finding some really hardcore drugs. So then they're like, "Oh crap, we have to like arrest these guys." And they go after them on the bikes, and the guys are running away, like just running on their feet, outrunning them. And there's a whole situation where they get one of the guys, the rest of the guys get away, but then they have forgotten to read them their Miranda rights, so the charges get dropped. So Nick Offerman is pretty annoyed with them. Like, that's your one thing.
This was the clip that I had showed to Colin earlier that I always thought was a funny part of the movie.
Yes. So, like, oh my god, I don't know. Sorry. They're like, I don't know. I think they're like trying to tell him what the captain guy what the Miranda rights are. And
yeah, he asked him, "Did you read him his Miranda rights?" And he says, "Yeah, of course I did that." And he says, "Do you even know what they are?"
And then like,
and he says, "Yeah, of course I know." Okay, well, let's hear him.
And then he says like Channing Tatum says like there's like the right to remain silent. And then he said like you have the right to be an attorney.
He said, "You have the right to remain an attorney." And then Nick Offerman says, "Did you just say you have the right to be an attorney?" And then Jonah Hill says, "You do have the right to be an attorney if you want to." Which I always thought was hilarious because, I mean, you do. He's not wrong. I actually, we have some friends of ours that are attorneys. And at their wedding, in their card, that's what I wrote. I wrote, "You have the right to be an attorney."
So that is just one example of just like the very funny lines, because obviously I don't even think you would get to the point of being a police officer if you couldn't recite the Miranda rights. But sorry. So the charges are dropped. As punishment, they're assigned to 21 Jump Street, and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They drive over there, and it's this dilapidated church.
It's a Korean church, so they have Korean Jesus as like a display, and
they get there, and the captain is Ice Cube, and he is
they get there, and
serious.
they're in like full police uniform. And it's like everybody else there is not dressed in uniform because it's an undercover mission. And apparently they don't know that. So they show up in like full uniform. But he's like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Nobody gave us a dress code."
So they get tasked with going back to high school to help bust a drug ring that is killing students. Yes.
So there's this new drug. It's called HFS. Which stands for Holy Effing S. I'm not sure how explicit we're allowed to get on Anchor or on Spotify podcasts or whatever this is called now.
They get it.
I know you can tag your podcast as explicit. I usually don't do that just because a lot of the times what we say isn't explicit. But I'm not sure if I actually say the words, if it's going to like, and I don't tag it as explicit, if that's going to be a problem or not. So anyway, that's what it stands for. And so they get shown this video on YouTube of this high school kid that like bought it and takes it and his reaction to it. And it turns out that this kid eventually died from it, which is what prompted the investigation into it. And you know, I think Ice Cube was saying, "Oh, the only reason that they're doing that is because this kid's white. Like nobody would care if he wasn't." And so they end up going to this same thing like before they got sent to 21 Jump Street. When Nick Offerman was like explaining what it was, he was saying like, "Yeah, they're running out of ideas and they just keep recycling the same old stuff. Like we're not going to notice." which was obviously like a joke about how Hollywood keeps remaking movies and shows and stuff. So it was, the whole thing's pretty funny. But anyway, so they go and they get this assignment and they have to go back to high school and they have to pose as high school students. So they have to move back in to Schmidt's parents' house and pretend that they're brothers, I guess. Mm-hmm. And they get these, fake identities assigned to them, which they get mixed up on the first day of school. They gave Jinko the assignment of kind of being the jock again, and they gave Schmidt the assignment of, taking the science classes and stuff like that. And then they get mixed up on the first day, so Schmidt has to be the jock and vice versa.
Because they couldn't remember what their name was.
Yeah. And it turns out that, things have changed a little bit since they were in high school. So all of the stuff that they thought was cool, or that was cool when they were in high school, is basically the opposite now. Like, the jocks are not that popular anymore, or at least in the group of friends that they make, they're not that popular anymore.
It's like the theater kids and the environmental kids. Those are the ones that are...
Everybody's really, woke, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so it throws them both for a loop, because Schmidt's like, oh my God, if I would have been in high school a few years later, I would have been the coolest kid here. And, Jinko's like, what the heck happened to high school? This is not how it's supposed to be.
So obviously both of them begin to have these existential crises, trying to decide, obviously in this assignment, Schmidt is like, oh, I really kind of like being in high school right now. And Jinko is kind of the opposite, but he does find some friends in the chemistry kids.
Yeah, and same for Schmidt. He finds some friends in the theater group, even though he didn't want to do it. And so they kind of adapt to their situation in spite of everything. They eventually find out that Eric Molson, who is played by Dave Franco, is the one that's selling the drugs in the school. And they go and they buy some from him to, I guess, to confirm that he's selling it. And he has them take it in front of him so he knows that they're cool. And, they try to throw it up, but they can't, so they end up tripping on it. And that's when they meet Rob Riggle's character for the first time. And, of course, he's talking to Channing Tatum because he's the gym coach. And then, Jonah Hill has to tell him, no, I'm the athlete. You have to talk to me or whatever. And they're all high. So he's like, what's wrong with you guys? And
wait, hold on. What was the actor's name again? The coach?
Rob Riggle.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. And so anyway, they do some police work. They eventually figure out that the supplier is the 1%ers, which was the biker gang from the beginning of the movie. They end up going to bust the suppliers. They all end up in this hotel room
at the prom.
On prom night. And they're about to get shot. And then that forces Johnny Depp and Peter DeLuise to reveal themselves as their 21 Jump Street characters. They've been undercover in the gang the whole time, and they help Jinko and Schmidt fight the biker gang, but in doing so, they get shot and killed. And at the end, they end up arresting Rob Riggle's character for being the guy. He was the guy that had funneled it into the school in the first place. He made Dave Franco do it because he caught him smoking weed, and he was like, hey, why don't you sell these drugs for me instead of getting in trouble? And so they eventually end up arresting him, and Jonah Hill shoots him in a not nice area. And I don't know, it's the whole movie is just pretty funny with throughout. If you haven't seen it and you are a fan of those kind of, buddy cop kind of maybe a little stupid comedy, check it out. It's funny. I mean, you probably have seen it by now, but if you haven't, maybe you forgot about this one. Maybe you wanted to see it and you missed it when it was out. It's funny. Check it out. The second one's funny too.
Yeah, so at the very end, Ice Cube reveals that they're going to college. So that kind of sets up the sequel.
Yeah,
Oh.
and at the time, I'm not really sure if they planned a sequel all along, or if it was just sort of
I don't think so. I think it's because it did well.
just kind of a joke, and then it ended up doing well, so they made one anyway.
Yes.
Because I mean, like, well, obviously when they filmed it, they couldn't have known whether it was going to do well or not, you know.
So, Colin, why don't you tell us what your favorite part was?
That's a great question.
Speaking of the mic, son.
I am.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, some of my favorite scenes were the scene we already talked about where they say you have the right to be an attorney. That's just classic. It's hilarious. There was a scene where they were at the school play.
Wait, no. The part where he's like late to play in Peter Pan, and then he just rushes on stage, and then his partner just starts beating him up for no reason.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because Rob Riggle's in the audience as the gym teacher, and he just yells out, "F you, Doug," which was hilarious to me that he's like a teacher doing that.
This has nothing to do with. I mean, it's about cops, but like, I just thought like a funny thing that was like also about cops, but like nothing, not related to this movie. There's a funny part on a ride that we've been on where the cop says you're under arrest right now.
Yes, that is on the Fast and Furious ride at Universal Studios. I'm not sure why the cop feels the need to stress that they're under arrest right now. Like, if he tried it a few other times and he ended up having to qualify it. Like,
you're under arrest in 3 hours.
Maybe the first time he did it, he was like, "You're under arrest." And the guy was like, "But when?" And then, so now he specifies whenever he arrests people. I don't know. It's weird, but it's funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was 21 Jump Street. I also thought one of the other scenes that was funny was like when Schmidt and Jenko are high on the drug.
Yes.
And Rob Riggle's just like, "What's wrong with you guys?" And
his
they're just
eyebrows are like crawling off his
face.
face.
And
I like the part where he turns into like a cat or like a Chuck E. Cheese robot.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I think that Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, like, their styles of acting, like their comedy plays very well off of each other.
One thing I was going to say was that I really like Channing Tatum's performance, not only in this movie, but he's done a few other movies like this where, like, he's not really like a guy that you're supposed to like if you're another guy. Like, he's supposed to be like this, teen idol kind of, super handsome, fit guy that everybody likes. And you're like, "Oh, look at this jerk," But he's so funny when he does these things because I think he's self-aware of that fact, and he like embraces it and like makes fun of it along with you. Like, he's fully aware of like who he is and what he is, and I like that. Like, it's cool that he embraces it.
He definitely has a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. So like, and Jonah Hill obviously is. I was gonna say he's a comedic actor, but he's done some serious roles too. But he at least started, or at least the first thing that I saw him as was comedic roles. So he's obviously very good at being in comedies as well as serious roles. But yeah, this whole cast and everything is just a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend checking it out.
It was definitely good to see it again. It had been a while since we had seen it last. There are definitely a couple of scenes that maybe we forgot that are a little mature for Colin, but he did a great job just like covering his eyes when it was something he didn't want to see. So good job there. Anything else you want to say about this movie? Would you recommend it?
I mean, yeah, I guess if you have access to it.
Okay, cool.
If it's like annoying to get, then like no, but
fair enough.
Like, I would say, like, it's not, like, it's good, but it's not good enough for you to go, like, way out of your way to go get it. Like,
I would just say I would recommend buying it in a physical medium because digital is convenient, and I myself enjoy watching movies digitally because of the convenience. But one of the drawbacks to it is you're kind of at the mercy of these streaming services. So one day they wake up and they decide, hey, that's not a thing anymore, and then poof, it's gone. Whereas if you have it on a DVD or a Blu-ray, you can watch that whenever you want, forever and ever, until your player breaks or your disc breaks or something.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they come with the codes for the digital thing, so you have best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's too. They come with both. So, yay, bonus!
So, my 2 cents.
I feel like that there's, like, a lot of movies where you can't just, like... I mean, this is definitely, like, age group dependent, but, like, I feel like there's a lot of movies where some scenes you're just gonna need to, like, look away. Like, that movie, yeah, I mean, well, I guess this movie, because we're talking about it still. Like, I'm trying to think of other examples. Like, probably, like, basically any horror movie, unless it's, like, PG-13.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, RoboCop is a great example to look away from stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're watching a movie that's got a lot of stuff you don't want to see in it, then yeah, don't watch it.
Speaking of traumatizing movies.
Yeah, so we went and saw some other movies at the movie theater this weekend. And the movies that we saw... Well, we saw one movie. Colin and Olivia went to see another movie. Colin and Olivia went to see Kung Fu Panda 4. And honestly, I feel like we might have been better off if we went to go see Kung Fu Panda 4 also.
Not gonna lie, that would have been a way better choice.
So, we went to see a movie that also has Nick Offerman in it.
It does,
and actually had a pretty good cast. Nick Offerman, Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst. I feel like there were some other decently famous actors in it that I'm probably forgetting about right now. But it just, to me, it didn't really resonate. The movie that we saw was Civil War. And I remember seeing the trailer for this movie when I went to go see The Iron Claw, which is a movie about wrestling, the Von Erichs specifically. I'm a big fan of wrestling, if you weren't aware, or if you even care about that. But, so I went to go see that, and I saw the trailer for this movie, and it looked very intriguing. It's basically a movie that's kind of hypothetical, and hopefully will stay a hypothetical, but it's kind of about, the political tensions in our country, and, if there were to be another civil war, what that might look like. And so I thought, that's kind of an interesting concept. I'll go check this movie out. And I don't know. To me, there was a few things that were like okay about it, but overall, it was just. I don't. Maybe that's the point of it, but to me,
here's the thing: it's a dark subject, so you can expect that it's not going to be a light and happy movie. I understood that, and I was prepared for that. What I was not prepared for was how loud the gunshot and violence scenes would be, and how extraordinarily graphic and just horrifying.
And I think some of that, or maybe all of it, is somewhat intentional. Like, I think you're supposed to kind of be uncomfortable when you're watching this movie.
Sure, but
that being said,
that's not a choice that I would willingly.
I didn't really enjoy being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: we know that these things happen in real life, and I don't think that glorifying them in the setting of a movie is what was the purpose of this? Is the purpose to lead to change? What change are you hoping to lead to by watching us watch a man be set on fire and burned alive? I just don't see the purpose of that. And to have the guns popping so loud. And I told Travis, maybe I'm a little autistic, and that's but though the sound, the noise was very, very triggering for me. I was unwell, and at a couple of points I was ready to walk out of the theater.
I think for me, like, it didn't really bother me in that way. I don't really necessarily regret going to see it, and I don't think I would go see it again. And I don't think I would really tell you yes, leave your house right now and go buy a ticket. I mean, you might want to check it out if you have the opportunity, or if that, the concept sounds familiar to you, or not familiar, sounds interesting to you. Check it out, but just know that it's, at least in my opinion, it looked better in the trailer.
I mean, I would have been really, really mad if we would have paid for those tickets. It was included for us with our. I mean, we pay for the Regal Unlimited, but it was included in Regal Unlimited. Not sponsored.
Not to shill for Regal, but that's another kind of thing that's good at that. They have Regal Unlimited now, and they also have I forget. I think AMC has A-List, and I think Cinemark has one. Several theater chains have the same type of program, and if you really like movies, it's a really cool thing, because sometimes you go see a movie and maybe it just doesn't speak to you the way that you thought it would, and then you don't have to be like, oh man, I paid all of this money for this ticket and I didn't even like the movie. Now it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shame I didn't like it, but
yeah,
at least I didn't pay all this money and go through a bunch of crazy stuff to see it. And so that's nice. And if you go on your birthday, like I almost did, we went the day before my birthday, but you don't even have to have unlimited for this, I don't think. Maybe you do. Maybe it is with unlimited, but they give you a free popcorn and soda for your birthday.
Fantastic.
It's a nice thing.
Unfortunately, there just weren't a whole lot of movies that were out at the moment, and there were just not a lot of options. However, I do now, in retrospect, wish that we would have gone to see the Kung Fu Panda movie.
That actually does. I actually kind of wanted to see that anyway.
I didn't, but
I mean, I wasn't gonna go out of my way to see it, but I've seen. I know for sure I saw the first one. We
definitely saw the first one in the theater before we had children. That was kind of weird, but so one other movie that we recently watched. And just to give you a little bit of backstory on, last weekend, Travis and I went with his brother and his wife to see Six, the Broadway musical in Jacksonville. It's touring right now. And it is all about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. And it's actually a really fun show. It's nice and short. Some people don't really love that Broadway shows are really long. This one was 80 minutes, no intermission. It was fun and fast, and it was all women, and so it was the 6 wives plus the entire they had a live band, and the whole live band was played with women, and it was just a lot of fun. But anyway, that kind of got me on a Tudors kick. I want to know a little bit more.
History's so hot right now.
So I
every time I see there's this new musical about Henry VIII, or Michael Douglas as Benjamin Franklin, or how Hamilton blew up, it just makes me think of Zoolander. It's so hot right now.
I guess.
Hollywood is my go-to.
So anyway, I wanted to go back and watch this movie that has come out quite some time ago called The Other Boleyn Girl. And it's about Anne Boleyn, who was the second wife of Henry VIII, and her sister Mary. It stars Scarlett Johansson and Natalie Portman and Eric Bana, so it has a pretty great cast. Travis said it was very boring and he didn't follow it at all.
I just want to say I took a really great nap during that movie, so
I do think I also tried to start to watch The Tudors, the show that was on Showtime with Jonathan Rhys the other day, and I got through about 10 minutes of it. It's just, I don't know if it gets, I'm sure it gets better, because TJ had said she watched the whole thing and it was great.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I was just saying, everybody's going to like something different. Sometimes things just aren't going to speak to you.
Well,
and that's okay.
It's not bad. The story wasn't bad. It was just slow, and maybe that particular time period is not my favorite. Also, I've heard that the story that's portrayed in The Other Boleyn Girl isn't necessarily historically accurate. But basically, Anne Boleyn's father and her uncle conspire to make the king like make her his side piece, and she somehow pisses him off, so then he ends up making the sister the side piece, but the sister's married, and then she gets pregnant with his baby, and then Anne somehow twists and turns things to make the king like want her, and so she's kind of just like teasing him this whole time and like, oh no, you can't have me until you get rid of your wife, and you have to divorce her. And well, he can't divorce her because the church says no, and then they try to send her to a nunnery and they say no, and so she says, okay, well then you need to break from the Catholic Church and create your own church so you can marry me and divorce her. And he does all these things for her, and then he ends up resenting her, hating her, whatever, because she doesn't give him a son. And then he thinks that she had an affair with her brother, which she didn't, and off with her head. So she is beheaded. So yeah, anyway, that was that movie in a nutshell.
Yeah, so history is so hot right now, and yeah, that's what's going on.
If you have a chance to see Six or to listen to the music from it, it's actually a lot of fun.
It was good. I had a good time. I'm not gonna criticize it really. Then a TV show we started watching last night. We started watching Fallout on Amazon Prime, which I thought was cool because it's based on a video game. If you don't know, a series of video games. If you don't know. And I think it's cool to see video games getting a little more recognition now in the mainstream. Not that they weren't in the mainstream, but like The Last of Us was a very successful series on HBO not too long ago, which also is based on a video game.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, see, that's my point. See, a lot of people, they don't realize it. They say when the games come out, I don't like video games.
I don't.
But then they make these shows and they're like, oh my god, that story's really great. And you're like, yeah,
I haven't seen The Last of Us.
That's what the video game is.
But
Like
I didn't know
it's
it was
like,
a game.
I have news for you. I think you do like video games and you just don't know it. Because that's what those games are like. But instead of sitting back and watching the show, you get to be part of it. It's great. It's amazing.
Okay.
Play video games, folks. But anyway, we started watching Fallout. It's pretty cool. We were only about halfway through the first episode, but I really like what they've done with it. I'm assuming the rest of them are going to get better as they go. It's already starting out on a pretty high note, so that's pretty cool. I'm not really going to spoil anything for you here, even though we spoil everything here. But check it out if you are a fan of video games, or maybe if you think you're not a fan of video games, you might discover that you actually are.
Or this might just be a way for you to tolerate video games in a different format.
Yeah, they also have Halo on Paramount Plus, which honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I might. It's not that it's a bad series, it's just sort of like, it was kind of hard for me to get into it. I feel like once I kind of got into it, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't something that I feel like a lot of times if you have to work to watch a show, if you have to force yourself to watch it, it's probably not for you,
True.
Anyways.
All right, friends. Well, please like and subscribe.
Yes, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or YouTube Music or wherever you listen to this. Hopefully you like what you're hearing. If you don't, that's okay too, but go ahead and review it. Help us get the word out there.
Send us your suggestions on Instagram and Facebook at Life in Pictures Pod.
At Life in Pictures Podcast on Facebook.
Just kidding.
At Life in Pix Pod everywhere else, basically.
Okay.
And side note, Google got rid of Google Podcasts, which is really annoying to me because now they rolled it all into YouTube Music, which is fine. It doesn't necessarily matter where you're listening, but I liked Google Podcasts because everything was all in one place and they kept your progress and the interface was good and everything. Now, in YouTube Music, when you go try to play a podcast, they don't have, at least, or maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm using it wrong, which is possible, but for the best that I can figure, you have to go to your library, then you have to go down to podcasts. But then when you go to podcasts, it just has a list of all your subscriptions, and then you got to pick it off of the list. And then, so in other words, like in Google Podcasts, if you fired up Google Podcasts, it would immediately pick up from where you left off on the show and the episode and the part of the episode you were on. Well, now in YouTube Music, you have to go to your library, go to podcasts, pick the podcast from your list of subscriptions, and then it'll autoplay the latest one, not necessarily the one you were listening to. Even if you start one and then you you go to work or something, you get back in your car, you want to hear it on the way home, it'll go right back to the newest one, even if that's not the one you were listening to. So every single time you got to go pick it out of a list, find the one you were listening to, hope you picked the right one and that it's where you were at. It's a big pain, and I hope they fix it.
Well, hopefully they hear this and they will take that feedback and roll with it.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you're fed up with it, then you might want to listen to this podcast somewhere else than YouTube Music. But if you don't mind dealing with that, listen to it wherever you see fit.
All right, friends. Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you about movies today.
We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.